Am I the only one that didn't know about the forgotten race riots of the 1920s? Imagine living in a time when stepping out of your home could mean risking your life simply because of the color of your skin. Welcome to the 1920s in America, a period marked by social unrest and racial tensions. In this video, we will uncover the lesser-known but equally significant race riots of the 1920s, a turbulent time that shaped the ongoing struggle for civil rights and equality. Our story begins in Chicago, the summer of 1919. The Great Migration had brought thousands of African Americans from the South seeking opportunity and escape from the suffocating grip of Jim Crow.
On a sweltering July day, a young black man named Eugene Williams, swimming with friends in Lake Michigan, drifted across an invisible line, the unofficial boundary separating black and white beaches. Stones were thrown, accusations hurled, and Eugene Williams, clinging to a piece of driftwood, drowned.
For 13 days, Chicago was engulfed in a wave of violence, leaving 38 people dead and thousands homeless. From the heartland of America, we shift our focus to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where just days after the Chicago riot, another chapter of racial violence unfolded.
The summer of 1919 saw a surge in racial violence across the country, fueled by economic anxieties, competition for jobs and housing, and the return of black soldiers from World War I. In Washington, rumors of black men assaulting white women, often fabricated or exaggerated, ignited a wave of white mob violence.
For 4 days, the streets of Washington were transformed into battlegrounds. By the time order was restored, at least 39 people were dead, the majority of them black, and hundreds more were injured. The violence that swept through Chicago and Washington, D.C. in the summer of 1919 was a stark reminder that racial tensions were not confined to large urban centers. In Omaha, Nebraska, a city known for its meatpacking industry, racial animosity simmered beneath the surface. On September 28, 1919, a spark ignited the flames of racial hatred. Will Brown, a black man accused of assaulting a young white woman, was arrested and jailed. A mob stormed the courthouse, setting fire to the building and battling police. Will Brown was dragged from his cell, beaten, hanged, and his body burned. Chapter 4, Elaine, Arkansas, Massacre in the Delta. From the rolling hills of the Mississippi Delta comes a story of unimaginable brutality, often overlooked in American history.
The seeds of the Elaine massacre were sown in the cotton fields of Phillips County, Arkansas, where black sharecroppers sought to improve their lot by forming a union.
On the night of September 30th, 1919, a group of black sharecroppers meeting at a church in Elaine were fired upon by white law enforcement officers. White mobs, fueled by rumors of an armed black insurrection, rampaged through the countryside, indiscriminately killing black men, women, and children. Chapter 5, East St. Louis, 1917, a prelude to carnage. The year is 1917. America is on the cusp of entering World War I.
The Great Migration brings thousands of black Southerners seeking opportunity, transforming the city's demographics. White workers, fearing for their jobs, view the newcomers with suspicion and hostility.
A labor dispute at the aluminum ore company, where black workers were hired as strikebreakers, becomes the catalyst for violence. On July 1st, a white mob descends upon black neighborhoods, attacking residents and setting fires. Chapter 6, Chicago, 1919, Scars on the City of Dreams. We return to Chicago, where the scars of the 1919 race riot are still fresh. The underlying issues of segregation, discrimination, and economic inequality that had fueled the violence remained largely unaddressed. Chapter 7, Longview, Texas. When progress ignited violence. Our journey takes us to Longview, Texas, a town on the cusp of an oil boom, where the discovery of black gold brought not only prosperity but also a surge in racial tensions. In the summer of 1919, a black man named Lemuel Walters, accused of assaulting a white woman, was lynched by a white mob. Black residents, outraged by the injustice, armed themselves, vowing to defend themselves against further attacks. For days, Longview was gripped by violence, with both sides exchanging gunfire. Chapter 8, Knoxville, Tennessee, a city divided. The year is 1919, World War I has just ended, and America is struggling to find its footing. On August 30th, 1919, a seemingly minor incident spirals out of control, igniting a race riot. A white woman claims she was assaulted by a black man, triggering a wave of white mob violence that targets Knoxville's black community. The city descends into chaos, with law enforcement overwhelmed and unable to stop the violence. Chapter 9. Charleston, Naval Riot, Unrest in Uniform. The year is 1919. America, victorious in World War I, is adjusting to peacetime. On the evening of May 10, 1919, a group of white sailors on leave from the Charleston Naval Yard clash with black residents in the city's downtown area. White sailors, enraged by rumors of black men assaulting white women, rampage through Charleston's black neighborhoods, attacking residents, looting businesses, and setting fire to buildings. The Charleston Naval Riot is a stark reminder that racial prejudice knows no boundaries, not even within the ranks of those who serve their country. Chapter 10. Our journey takes us to Washington, Pennsylvania, a town built on coal and steel. In the summer of 1919, racial animosity in Washington reached a boiling point, ignited by the arrival of black workers recruited to break a strike at a local steel mill. On August 19, 1919, a white mob descended upon black neighborhoods, terrorizing residents, burning homes and businesses, and driving black families from their homes. The summer of 1919 was a time of both promise and peril in Chicago. On a sweltering August day, racial tensions once again boiled over, this time on the shores of Lake Michigan, in what became known as the Chicago Beach Riot. On August 10, 1919, a young black man named Eugene Carter, swimming with friends at a predominantly white beach, drifted across an invisible line in the water, sparking a confrontation. Words were exchanged, stones were thrown, and Eugene Carter was struck in the head, sinking beneath the waves. The news of Eugene Carter's death spread quickly, igniting a wave of anger and resentment within Chicago's black community. The year is 1918. America is embroiled in World War I, and the nation's industries are struggling to keep pace with wartime demands. The Philadelphia Rapid Transit Company, facing a shortage of workers due to the war effort, begins hiring black men to fill vacant positions, a move met with resistance from the company's predominantly white workforce.
On August 1st, 1918, white streetcar conductors and motormen, angered by the hiring of black workers and fearing for their jobs, walk off the job, bringing Philadelphia's public transportation system to a halt. White mobs, angered by the black strikebreakers, attack black workers and residents, pulling them off streetcars, beating them, and destroying property.
The year is 1920. America, still grappling with the aftermath of World War I and the Spanish flu pandemic, is a nation on edge. On May 19, 1920, a minor altercation between a white police officer and a black man spirals out of control, igniting a race riot in Charleston, West Virginia. White mobs rampage through black neighborhoods, burning homes and businesses and lynching at least one black man. The Charleston race riot of 1920 stands as a grim reminder of racial violence in America. The Jim Crow laws were designed to enforce segregation and perpetuate racial injustice, creating a society where African Americans were treated as second-class citizens. These race riots of the 1920s were a horrific chapter in American history, but they also laid the groundwork for the civil rights movement that followed. The violence of these riots shocked the nation and galvanized a new generation of activists who would devote their lives to fighting for equality and justice. If you found this video informative, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share it with others for more historical insights. Thank you for watching.